All right, so we're going to record this. All right, so we're just going to go with the screen sharing, and then we're going to start doing all this. I'm not going to play with too much. All right, okay. So then everybody come back in here. Sable will probably make a, oh, she's getting close. She's probably going to make a debut here. I'm just admitting everybody. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. I literally just, the whole screen just went away and I couldn't get it back. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and then we're just going to kind of go through everything here for everybody. All right, let's go. All right, so hopefully you can see the screen here. All right, so we're just going to start talking about some things for you guys. So why I do this in terms of strength and conditioning, there's 3 reasons. The first one is just to reduce injury. So that's the main reason why we're doing these programs. So you can go through a season healthy, you can play, you'll see a lot of benefit, especially if you're an athlete that does have injury throughout your career. You'll see a lot of benefit from this. Just let me know if anybody's in the waiting room. I'll have to figure out how to get them in here. The second reason is obviously getting stronger. So we have many different ways that we get stronger. So I just wanted to show you this. This is kind of the yearly training plan here. Hopefully you can see this. It's all on your screen. We have different types of strengths. We have accelerative strength, and then absolute speed would be like running. This is kind of more for soccer. We have power strength, so that's like your Olympic lifts, clean snatches, those kind of things. We have absolute strength, so that's just like getting stronger. So for me, if you're a recruit, you know, that's the biggest one for you, is just getting your body stronger, and that's what this first program is going to do. We have reactive strengths, that's like your plyometrics, your change of direction kind of stuff. We have coordination strength, that's like balance. So you'll do like you'll stand on one leg and have to like grab a block from one side of your body to the other side of the body. That would be balance. And we have energy system. That's a type of strength. It's more of like an aerobic thing. So it's how well your blood can take up oxygen and how well your lungs work and improving lung capacity, that kind of stuff. So that's a lot of that stuff's trained through your sport throughout the year, but we do a bit of interval work throughout the summer called conditioning, which works on that. That's probably the not the least important, but the least amount of stuff that we do. It's very important, but a lot of more emphasis goes into the absolute strength piece. And then general sports strength, that's just kind of strength that might be more specific to your sport. There's probably about 10% of that. In the summertime, everybody kind of does their own thing. But when you're with me in the gym or in the weight room, when you're on campus, we spend quite a bit of time kind of, sorry, we got 2 more people here. I'm just adding them. We spend a lot more time in season working on the, so many buttons to push. I'm so freaked out now, I'm gonna turn it off. When you're on campus, that's when we spend time on the sports strength stuff. So I just wanted to show you that, just that's what it is. I'm not gonna go through this. That's more of a technical document there. So another parameter why I do this is that we can influence sport specifics called key performance indicators, KPIs. So a good one from research is soccer. So strength and conditioning has shown to help you become a better tackler in soccer. So there are certain things like volleyball, you know, I could probably help you jump a little higher, right? Basketball, I can help you change direction a little bit better, you know, on your defense kind of thing. Hockey, I could maybe help you push off your edges a little bit fast, like a little bit harder, maybe help you accelerate a little bit better. Goalies, maybe change direction a little bit quicker in net. I think I hit all the sports there. Did I leave any sports out? I don't think I did. So anyways, those are KPIs. Not a lot of influence from strength and conditioning, to be honest, in KPIs, but there are some, all right? So we do talk about that a little bit. My thing with the coaches is basically, I'm not here to make you a better athlete in terms of your sport. I'm just here to help you get stronger, help you reduce your injury, help you get increased confidence and that kind of stuff. And through that, you will see the benefit in practice, because your coaches are really geniuses when it comes to your performance. I'm just here to help them have you for longer and help you maybe just feel a bit more confident and improve your strength and maybe improve your couple KPIs along the way. And then the last thing is health. You know, I want you to feel obviously healthy. You know, if you work out, your bones get stronger, you're less likely to break them. Your joints can get stronger through ligaments. Your tendons can be stronger with your muscles, like so that could reduce some stuff there. For instance, like it could help with patella tendonitis. It could help reduce shoulder pain, that kind of stuff. So it just morphs your body into like a more resilient kind of structure for your sports. That's kind of how I view it. How I approach it is through a multi-plane approach. So we work through all the different movements of the body, push, pull, squat, and then we split squat. And then we do a lot of core work in terms of rotation, anti-rotation, anti-extension, and anti-flexion. I'll get through some of that stuff as we go through the log. So all my stuff's based on science. So not a lot of it's from YouTube or Instagram. All right. So a lot of it's science, very simple stuff. You might find some of the stuff is pretty simple, but it's very effective and it's worked. I've had a lot of success with it. And a lot of the stuff is from trainers that have had a lot of success over the years. Some of the stuff I've experienced, as well as some of the research that's come out over the years. Mainly sprinting is something that we do a lot of, because there's been a lot of research over the last couple of years on the effectiveness of sprinting with team sport athletes, because normally it was in athletics, like track and field kind of stuff. So that's one of the new things that we've kind of put in from the research. When you're working out, just a little bit of parameter here. So it's about comfort, control, and no pain. So I always want you to feel comfortable when you're doing an exercise. I want you to feel in control, and I want you to feel no pain, right? So for instance, let's take a deadlift. If you're not comfortable doing a deadlift, you just don't do it. And that's okay, right? That's okay. And if you want to wait till, if we do have deadlifts in there and you want to wait till the fall to do it, that's okay. So it's all about comfort, right? If you've done it with me for a season, okay, you should know what you're doing, right? That's not what I'm talking about if you're new, right? So it's all about comfort. So to me, it's the number one thing. I don't ever want you doing a lift if you feel uncomfortable, right? So you can't say the whole program's uncomfortable, because I don't believe you. But there will be one or two things that maybe you don't feel comfortable with, or you've had like you've done one of the exercises in the past and you've injured yourself or something like that. So you got to feel comfortable. Okay, so that's very important. If it becomes something that you're concerned about, talk to your coach. And if the coach feels that you should talk to me, then they'll put you in touch with me and I'll talk you through it and we'll have a chat about it. I want you to feel in control in what you're doing. So again, I never want you to do an exercise where you don't feel like you're in control. That's probably not going to be too much of an issue with this stuff, because it's pretty lightweight and a lot of it's mainly using your body and learning how to control your body. The only time where that becomes a factor is when we're in the weight room and you're trying a new weight for the first time, and sometimes athletes are like, I don't feel in control yet to do that. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So that's usually where that comes into play. And then obviously no pain. So I don't want you having any pain in anything you're doing. If you ever have any pain, let your coach know, let your physiotherapist know, and then you can let me know. But if you let those people know, generally all we're going to say is go see a physiotherapist and get them to do an assessment. That's what I'm probably going to say to you, because that's outside my scope. But just so you know, we don't want you feeling any pain. So just let someone know and we'll get you in the right hands to handle that. This whole program, and then I'll start going through it, is designed to be done in the gym or at home. So you can do this at home or you can do it in the gym. So when the gyms open up, you can go in and do this. So that's why it was designed this way, to move smoothly. All right. The last thing I'll mention before I start going through this is just give 100% of what you have each day. So this is kind of how the week plays out here, right? So you basically have a 5-day schedule. So you apply plyometrics, functional strength, Zoom call on that day. That's what we're doing right now, right? So do what you can do on a day. Like, let's say it's Wednesday, you're having a really bad day. You did your functional strength and you did half the conditioning, just do what you can. But next week, make sure you do the full one, kind of thing, right? Don't make it a habit of that. But I'm just saying, don't feel like, the last thing I ever want an athlete to feel is like, oh, I have to do this today. I want it to be fun. I want it to be enjoyable. But remember, consistency is the measure, right? So the more consistent you can do the program, the better results you're going to have. Okay. But just remember, give what you have. That's a really big thing. And I've had that philosophy with the athletes all the time. And sometimes even when an athlete comes in, they're having a really bad day, and they might just get through, 50% of the sets. And I'm okay with that. you know, because they did it that day. Which the worst thing to do is not do it, not do that day. I'm too tired to do it this day. Well, if the workout's supposed to be 90 minutes, do 45, right? At least just do something that day. All right. But don't get me wrong. I'm not saying to do that consistently. I'm saying consistently you should be doing 100% of the workout, but just give it your best shot. And it's better to do, the reason I'm saying this is because it's better to do something on some day than nothing. So instead of doing nothing, just try to do something on that day. And that will make huge gains for you come the fall. All right, so let's just go through this real quick and show you some stuff. So you have a warm up. So the warm up has mobility. So there's a YouTube video. There's two YouTube videos. One's called mobility and one's called follow along. So this is the mobility video. Okay, again, I'm recording this, so this is going to go on to YouTube, so you can come back. I'm going to be talking very fast. You can come back and review this video. So you follow the mobility video, not the follow along video, the mobility video. And the first 10 minutes should give you a pretty good mobility warm up. Those of you that have had, you know, your time with me, just do your mobility that you know, if your hamstrings are tight, do mobility. If your hips are tight, do mobility for your hips. You know what I mean? I think we're at that place where we can make those decisions. If your upper body's tight, you got upper cross, your shoulders are tight, you know, do some stuff for that. All right. So basically 10 minutes of mobility. And then you have a ladder. You can just draw chalk on the cement and draw a ladder, whatever you want to do. And then, so that's your warm up. Over here though, it says glute bridge hold video. So that's not on the YouTube channel. So you'll have to click on this little link and it'll bring you to a nice little glute bridge hold video. Okay. So that's just basically the warm up. Just wanted to clarify the mobility in the video. So here's the bulk of it. So how it's kind of set up is it has functional strength 1. All the titles here in the left in the yellow are the titles that are going to be on this. Okay, so functional strength 1, functional strength 2. All right, and you're going to start to see a pattern. You're always going to see plyometrics done first. Okay, so it's very important to do your power-based stuff first. So that's why you're always going to see in these here, you're going to see sprinting is first. Okay, so you always want to do your power stuff before you do anything else. Otherwise, you're going to tire your nervous system out and the power stuff won't be as beneficial for you. So please follow the order of everything. This is put in a logical order for you. I do core at the end because I don't want to tire out your core. I wanted you to be able to do all the other exercises with a strong core. Sable's just like, look at she's trying to get closer and closer as I'm going on here. She's getting jealous. All right, so just make sure, please follow the order that these are in, so it's all laid out for you there. So yeah, functional strength 1. This is more of an intense kind of workout. And then you have functional strength 2, which is still intense, but it's more of kind of like, so you got a movement called Turkish get up. So it's a very challenging kind of movement thing. So this day is more of kind of just trying to challenge your movement. This day is more of trying to just build strength kind of thing, if you can think of it that way. So there's a couple exercises on here too. I make some notes over here on this general notes area, and I tried to help you out a little bit in terms of stuff that you might see. So for instance, if you're doing like a hook march hold here, your lower back might feel like it's coming up. So you want to try to keep your lower back down. If low back goes down, you lift your feet in the air. So I try to give you a lot of notes on that side over there, as well as put notes into the video descriptions, and I talk in the video about how to do it. So if you just kind of watch the video, look at the video notes, and follow those notes, that should be a really good guide for you. So I really tried to make this as user-friendly as I could so that you could do it on your own. Think of it as like an online program kind of thing. A couple of things. So like bird dog row is an exercise here. If you don't have an elevated surface, you can do it on the ground. So I'll kind of explain that in the video. So all the different exercises, you might have to just be a little creative sometimes. So bird dog row, if you have like a patio, you know, and it's not like, it's only like 2 feet off the ground, it's not 10 feet off the ground. You could do the bird dog row off the edge of the patio kind of stuff, right? But make sure it's only like 1 foot to 2 feet off the ground. You don't want to go any higher than that, just in case you lose your balance, obviously, right? So you've got to kind of be a little bit smart too about some of the stuff that you're doing. So I did put a lot of kind of variations in there. So again, if you ever get to us, you can't understand a variation, just contact your coach if you're really struggling. And then, you know, the coach might be able to give you some advice, or you can contact me. You know, the reason I don't put my email right now is because there's 150 of you. So if you're all contacting me, that's going to be a summary of me just emailing back. So you can kind of talk to your coach individually, and then they can kind of get in touch with me. If you have a relationship with me on the email, for sure, you can reach out and that kind of thing. I'm just trying to save a little bit of it, because I think if you go through the video and you go through the log and you read the descriptions, you're going to be able to figure out a lot of this stuff. So I just asked that before, you know, you do ask a question, just please go through the process, because I designed it that way to really try to help you have to minimize the amount of time that you'll spend asking questions about the whole thing. So again, I want to hear from you, but again, it's just that during the summers, I spend a little bit more time on my business and that kind of stuff. So so just please go through this, and then if you need to get in touch with me, feel free to. So that's basically how it works. Is you have the functional strength 1, functional strength 2. Here are the plyometrics. So if you see it say hold, that just basically means you're going to hold the movement. So I'm going to do like a jump and I'm going to hold, and I'm going to do a jump and I'm going to do a hold. So that's just in the video. So right now in this first kind of meso cycle, what a meso cycle is like a block of training. It's just hold work right now. So we do like hold work, and then we do like ladder work, or not ladder work, hurdle work. So we jump over hurdles, and then we do like continuous hopping. So those are kind of like the 3 stages that we progress our plyometrics in. So right now it's just a lot of holding stuff. Let me talk about reps now. So let's take a unilateral. So unilateral means 1 leg. So let me find something with reps and 1 leg. 1 leg. See, there's not a lot of reps on here. I'll get through that in a second. Oh, cross reach. Okay, here we go. Found one. So cross reach RDL. Okay, so this is done on 1 leg. So you bend over and you got to reach across your body, and then you got to stand back up using a hip hinge. So the number is 16. So you don't do 16 on each leg. When something uses like one side of the body, right? So I'm on 1 leg and I have to do it. You would do 8. So you just take half the number. All right, so that's very important. So hamstring sliders are the same. So you don't do 12 on each leg. So you do 1 leg at a time with hamstring sliders, you do 6. But I also mentioned over here, I think, no, I didn't. I might have mentioned it in the video, but with some of these things, like hamstring sliders, and when you're doing body weight, you might find that 6 wasn't enough. We'll do some more, right? Especially with the body weight stuff. That's going to be the biggest challenge right now, is that I can't really load you very well because we don't really have access to gyms. So if I'm doing something and it feels really easy, we'll do some more reps. Go until it gets tough, kind of thing, right? But the main thing I wanted to mention here was like, just so you can read, and I do mention that in the bottom down here in the description about the reps, is that if it's 1 leg or unilateral and it says 16 or 12, basically any number over 8, it's probably a unilateral exercise. So you just kind of do half of that, because if you do 16 on each leg, you're gonna email Coach L and be like, Coach L, this is taking me 2 hours to do this program, right? So if it's taking you 2 hours to do the program, that's probably what's kind of happening there. So that's basically the logs. That's kind of how everything's broken down. So I wanted to go over the conditioning. So on the YouTube channels, let me bring that up real quick. So here's your YouTube channel. These are all the different areas here. So it's the same as in the yellow. So we have the warm up, we have functional strength 1, functional strength 2, plyometrics. And then down here we have conditioning. So I have a nice video here to explain how we do the conditioning. I explain what shuttles are and what strides are. Basically, shuttles are very high intense kind of conditioning, and then strides are more of like your longer, not long distance, but that kind of conditioning where it's more of an energy system that goes for like a minute to 2 minutes, where this is more of an energy system that goes for like 30 seconds, where you got to explode and go fast and that kind of stuff. So you can listen to the conditioning. I tried to make the conditioning kind of sport specific. So if you look at volleyball, it says 15-15, basketball 30-30, hockey 45-45, soccer 30-30. So that's your work to rest ratio. So what that basically means For volleyball, you would do the activity for 15 seconds and then you would rest for 15 seconds because that's kind of how a rally goes. Basketball, you're going to go for 30 seconds and then rest for 30 seconds. The video will explain how it goes. This is basically you're running between cones. Very simple. So I just run for 30 seconds and then rest for 30 seconds. Hockey, 45. So that's how the interval works there. Okay, so you do that for 4 minutes and then you have a 1 to 2 minute rest. Okay, shuttles is the same thing. It explains how to set it up 10 meters apart. And then you just go for 15 seconds on and 15 seconds off. And the reason we do it that way is the research shows you get a little bit more work in and it's a little bit more sport specific. Okay, so that's kind of how the conditioning works. Now, I also mentioned too, somewhere in here, I know I wrote it in here somewhere. If you want to do like a long distance run, go for it as well. I'd probably do it on like a Saturday. Again, don't do your long distance run or anything like that before you do plyometrics or before you do sprinting, right? So on these days, I would say, you know, this day and this day, I would not do any long distance kind of anything, right? I would say that on the Saturday, that would be a good day to do your long distance stuff. You just got to make sure you're not interfering with the nervous system. You could maybe do a long distance thing on this day instead of your strides if you really want to. Soccer athletes generally like that long distance kind of running, where volleyball athletes, I just use those two sports because they're kind of very opposite ends of the energy system. Volleyball athletes tend to not like the long distance running. At least I didn't, so I'll just put us in that category. That was my sport. They seem to like the interval stuff. So if you do like the long distance stuff, you can throw it in there, but do the interval stuff too, because you are getting change of direction interval stuff and you are getting power development in the interval stuff as well too. All right, so there is a bit of, so if you don't see a lot of the long distance running, that's why it's not really that in there, because I think we get better gains from the interval stuff. But if you want to do the long distance stuff, you know, you can incorporate it in, you know, once a week on Saturday would be good. And then doing the rest of the program would be good. Stability is pretty laid out straightforward in the YouTube video. I don't think there's anything really to talk about there. The hand plank reaction drill. So those of you that did this last year, it's going to say do it on your knees. So all of you that are recruits, I really want you doing that on your knees because you can get some shoulder stuff going on there. But those of you that have done it already, don't worry about doing it on your knees. You can do it straight on your feet. Okay, those of you that are on this call that have had me for at least 1 year, if some of the stuff seems easy, do the hard stuff that we did in the weight room. Okay, because it's really hard for me. I've got training ages from 0 to getting up to 4 now. So it's getting pretty hard to like really cover all the bases. Basically, if it feels too easy, make it harder. And you should know how to, because I think I'm pretty good at doing that and showing you a lot of variety in the weight room. Perfect. Throughout the summer, there will be Zoom calls. So Zoom calls will be on like the last week of each program. So here is one. The Zoom call will be on June 22nd. So this will be on the calendar that you got from your coaches. Okay, so it's right there, right? Zoom call 7 p.m. That's Mountain Time. Oh, I forgot to put that in, but I did put it on the other sheet there. So it is Mountain Time, so that's Alberta time. So that's when we'll do the Zoom call, is on the last week of each Meso Cycle. All right, and that will just be to get any questions. That's where you're going to talk. I don't want to do a lot of talking there. All right, so on there, I want you to ask questions. I want you to tell me how it's going. By then you'll have the program for the next one, so you can kind of have a look at that. We can kind of go through that similar to how we're going through all this stuff here with you. All right. So yeah, this is the YouTube channel. Here's a little tricky, fun thing for you. So if you go to the search, right, and you're like, what's that exercise called? And you just type in like core, it'll give you a lot of the core exercises. It'll just come up, right? YouTube's very smart, right? Like squats. So if you're having a hard time, oh, where was that exercise? Or what was that exercise? Oh, iso split squats. That's what, or oh, goblets. Oh, there. So if you just type it in the search, you're going to save yourself a lot of time than going through the stuff. So this is one here. A coach reached out about internal external rotations, which is a very good exercise. Now you do need a band to do this exercise. So if you want to make a note, you can look this exercise up. So sports like soccer, you might not be as interested in this because it's more of an upper body thing, and yours is more hips and Achilles and that kind of stuff. But like I could see basketball and hockey and volleyball. Hockey maybe, but definitely basketball, definitely volleyball. You might like these ones, especially if you have some shoulder stuff that's been going on in your club or high school career. So look up this exercise. It's called internal external rotations, and just start doing it. You know, and I would do it on your I would do it twice. Where's my thing? I would do it twice a week, right? And I would just kind of do it after my workout. I would do it when I'm all done. I would definitely do it on the functional strength 2 day, and maybe I would do it on one of these 2 days. Again, the Mondays and Fridays are the days you don't want to play with very much. Those days are pretty much just do those 2 workouts because I don't want to interfere with your nervous system. But these days here, you can kind of play around a little bit if you want to add in something and you want to make things a little bit more challenging. So you could add in that one. So I just wanted to show you that exercise because I mentioned that I would bring it up. So it's a pretty good one there. So that's the YouTube channel. I don't know how I go back to the other page. Oh, there we go. There we go. Coach L's getting it. So here are, so how it worked, YouTube kind of changed everything. So I guess now you can just get everything. Before we had to go into the playlist, but I guess now they're allowing me to put all the videos on the homepage. So all of these should be all the videos. If you want to see all the videos that we've ever done, they're all here. So you can kind of go in and access that too. And then this is the playlists. So if you go to the playlist, this will definitely have all the videos for you to look at. All right, so that's kind of a rundown. And again, everything's just laid out. The title is basically the same title that is here. So it all should kind of work seamlessly. So this title, mobility, that's the title on the YouTube there. I made some notes here, so I'm just making sure that I hit everything. I did talk about adjusting exercises. I'm just trying to go through here. So suitcase carries, that's a really popular one. That's a big one. So we got suitcase and farmer carries. So listen, go to Home Hardware, get a bucket, get 2 buckets, fill it up with rocks. It's really heavy, right? And that's perfect. And that will help you go. You might want to put washcloths around the handles, especially if they're like the wire handles, and then grab it that way. But that's how you can do your carries. If you have kettlebells or dumbbells, that works out too. But if you go to Home Hardware and you get some buckets and fill it up with some rocks, that will solve, like that'll allow you to do bent over rows. That'll allow you to do your carries. That'll allow you to do, and you can even hold the bucket. I can hug the bucket and I could do my squats. You know what I'm saying? So that's a really good thing to probably get, and it's pretty cheap for you to do. There's an exercise called body saw. So this is a bit of caution. This is probably the most advanced exercise that's in this program here. If you get any kind of lower back stuff going on, just stop doing the exercise. And that's probably where you just let your coach know and then let me know, and then we can figure that out for you. I could even just do a little video with you to watch you do it and help you. That's the only one that I'm just kind of, I really like it. Just if you do it on your knees though, so you'll see on the video I'm doing it on my feet, but if you do it on your knees, so the sliders go under your feet. You put the sliders under your knees, that could help. But that's probably the only exercise on here where I'm like, I'm probably going to get some people saying that their lower back, because it's a hard position to hold your back in. Now I did want to bring something else up, is you'll see the words like, and this came up like last week. So I was watching someone present and they had mentioned that someone had brought this up. And I thought it was cool because I never thought of it this way. So we're going to have things like anti-extension, anti-rotation. And then this person said, well, what, you don't like rotating? Well, that's not what it means. Basically what it means, so if I look at dumbbell pull across here, it's probably going to say, oh, I didn't say it there. I'm trying to see if something says, but usually it'll say like anti-rotation. So dumbbell pull across with knee drop, that's an anti-rotation exercise. So you might see that somewhere like in the video. Basically, it just means you're trying not to rotate. Doesn't mean that we don't like rotating, because your core is used as a, oh, I got a 10-minute warning. Your core is used as a stabilizer, right? It's used as a decelerator for changing direction and that kind of stuff. So if you see the word anti, I don't want you telling people, oh, the strength coach at olds doesn't like rotating. That's not what it means. And I never even thought about that. So any of you athletes that thought that before, that I didn't want you rotating, I apologize. But when this presenter brought it up, I'm like, oh, of course some people might assume that. It just basically means we're trying to keep the core strong, right? So we don't do like Russian twists and stuff like that, because that's really not how your core functions as an athlete, okay? I think I got through pretty much everything here. I wanted to bring up nutrition and sleep. So if you are consistent with the program and you get adequate sleep and you get good nutrition, you will have better benefits come the fall than if you don't. So what does that mean? So adequate sleep is anything between 7 and 9 hours. And then to me, good nutrition is just eating whole foods, basically, like meats and vegetables and stuff that's not from the freezer, you know, as much as whole foods as you can. You know, your coaches are very good at, we have Lucinda on campus. She does some great nutrition stuff with the athletes. I'll talk to you about some new research in nutritional areas and strength and conditioning and that kind of stuff. So if you do fuel your body and sleep, you will have better results for sure. You know, that's a very important thing. I can't get across the consistency piece. I'm going to come back to that again. So again, by giving 100% of what you have, it just basically means like maybe twice a month. I'll define it. You have twice a month where you can have a workout that doesn't last as long as it should. But the other part of the months, what's that? 95% of the time, the workout should be to what it is. And if not, you should push a little bit harder than what's stated. So that's just very important, is that you're consistently doing the workouts. You know, I can't get that part across. That consistency piece is important, right? So even if you go away on a vacation or something like that, like just try to do something. So just try to do some sprints on the beach, or try to do some of the shuttle work on the beach, or try to do some jumping in the sand, or try to do some squats in the sand, or, you know, just something like that, or go for a nice swim, do some conditioning. Just try to keep doing something through the summer, because if you do that, you'll see some really good results when you come back in the fall. Sprinting, very important. It's probably be almost the last thing I'm going to talk about, but sprinting. So we have these flying 10-meter sprints. So basically, see the video for description, but what flying means is that you kind of jog into the sprint and then you sprint. So I would set up 10-meter gate. I'd set up 10-meter start and stop parts with like a cone. So I put cones 10 meters apart, and then I would have like a 15-foot run in, right? So I'd have a 15-foot run in. And then I do explain this in the video. And then I would sprint between the two cones. And then at the end of the last cone, obviously the end of the 10 meters, that's your time, right? So you start the timer as soon as you hit that first 10-meter cone, and then the timer stops on the last 10-meter cone. Don't start the timer on the run-in, right? So that's a flying 10-meter sprint. The reason we do those are just safer. You know, you're probably not going to have any hamstring issues, and that's doing the flying sprint. So that's how we do them when you come in. So I want you practicing those. Now, if you time those, you will get better results than if you don't. That's very important. And that's research that's been studied. So if you have someone that you work out with and you have a stopwatch, or even if you just want to have your own, time your sprints and write it down and record it and see if it's getting better. You will have better results. You'll find you might jump higher. You might explode a little bit better if you time it than if you don't. And over 3 months, I think that we will see a difference in that, right? So I really encourage you with the sprinting is to time it, really time your sprints. Just trying to think if there's anything else. I think I hit most of my notes. I guess we got about 5 minutes. Is there anybody that has like a question, or coaches, have I missed anything that you think I should hit on? Can anybody think of any, even ask? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just say, Coach L, that like you touched on the YouTube channel. Like for anybody new to the program, like you've done a phenomenal job of recording yourself doing the exercises. And I mean, that's extremely helpful for even for us old coaches that, you know, aren't able to perform the exercise like the athletes. Okay. That's a great resource as well.
Good. Yeah, because like Ryan said there, that this is really what brings it together. So please watch the video from beginning to end, because I will talk through the video. I know it's a bit time consuming, but it will really pay off if you just give yourself half an hour watch all the videos, and there's a lot of good information there. But this YouTube channel really does kind of tie it all together. So I do appreciate that. And every time I do the YouTube channel, I think I get a little bit better at it. I got 4 minutes and 38 seconds. Is there anything else that you can think, even athletes that are coming back, is there any advice that you might have for all the new people like Jesse or anybody that might have for the recruits while you're on the call? Got any advice for them since you were a recruit?
Yeah, I would just say you should take Coach L's advice, because we're lucky to have him, and I've had other trainers that did the best they could, but Coach L is definitely an asset to our team. So you should follow what he says.
Do what I say. Anyone have anything to say from their experience, like in the first year? Any of you that have been around, like doing it and seeing the benefits? Anybody? I know I saw Sierra on there, and anybody other athletes want to just give your word of wisdom here for 2 minutes? Come on, one of you's got to say something. Who's on here? I can't see who's on here.
From a coach's perspective, it's very obvious if you do it and you don't do it, or if you do nothing. So this has all been laid out for you. I think all you have to do is follow it. Like you know, in my opinion, there's no excuse not to do it. So,
Braden,
you know,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I would say,
I want Braden to say something, because you had Braden came in his first year. He was pretty banged up. We did a lot of good stuff with him. So maybe just share your experience real quick and we'll end on that. All right, bud?
Sure. Yeah, when I came, like, I had really bad knees, and people would call me grandpa. So that kind of tells you how bad they were. But basically, like, I would say if you have any pain at all, like, and I still do this to this day when I'm working out with Coach L, I'll tell them, like, even if it's a small pain, because a lot of times small pains can turn into like big problems. That's kind of what happened to me. I had like minor tendonitis and I didn't really take care of it, but eventually, you know, I got better through Coach L giving me different workouts to strengthen my tendons. Squatting is something that's hard when you have tendonitis, and, you know, Coach L will tell you, like, don't go as far, or just do it a little different. Like a goblet squat tends to help better. So yeah, I guess to wrap it up, like, you have to be honest with yourself, with your body, and know when not to push past the pain and when to tell, like, Coach L, like, this hurts, give me something else to do, because he literally always will have something that will either fix the pain or some way to avoid it.
Perfect. Thanks, bud. All right. So again, we got 1 minute. Please, if you have any questions about anything, reach out to your coaches. They're kind of your first line. And if it's something that they can't get a handle on, they'll have you reach out to me. If you have a physiotherapist that you work with them. Last piece of advice is, if you can get to a trainer, hire a trainer, even for a week or two. They'll be very helpful for you as well. Okay. So thank you. It was nice to meet everybody. We're going to get cut off here. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Coach.